What will I say? Oh, I want to make sure we are in the lounge. We are back in the lounge. Like I said, we don't do Ace's Lounge just on Thursdays anymore. We do Ace's Lounge whenever. Ace's Lounge is a vibration. Ace's Lounge is a place you come to for higher learning, to learn something new, to discuss what you can't discuss with many others. I want to get into this body. So this vid, it's so long, but it's 32 minutes. He covers a lot of shit. Context, he's basically he's reading a book from Gerald Massey. It's called what's the name of the book? A Book of the Beginnings by Gerald Massey. And he's basically going over the origins of us, the melinated people, of the Osirians. Bro in the comments was like, he said Osirians, but the Osirians had the green skin. I was like, and I said, that shit, damn, that shit loud. I'm gonna turn that down. On my shit. But bro had said, we are the Osirians, we don't have green skin. We don't have green skin. I was made in the image of God. I was made in the image of God who created the world, not a lizard man. He's not wrong, but the thing is, he missed the whole point, because here's the thing. This is a leaf. It's a dead leaf. I have a plant in the back. This is one of the dead. It dried up. Put it right off. Plants are naturally green. Osiris represents the green man. That's us in our natural state. And we know we are, quote unquote, we're coming out of our dead state, but we were in a dead state for so many years. Go brown. See this? See how it looks just like me? That's my point. The green skin is representative of the photosynthesis, the sun, how we get energy from the sun. This is basic. It's simple. It's nothing to be debate. It's just don't count out anything just because of one miscommunication. Keep in mind, we are in that little Mercury retrograde, so I can see things can get misinterpreted. I'm already knowing that Mercury retrograde coming up, a lot of shit about to get misinterpreted. So I probably should relax on the videos a little bit. But the thing is, I get a lot of work and get a lot of insight from watching these videos. I learn a lot. I thought y'all can learn a lot too. So let's get into it.
I can see what we're dealing with, and that's by Gerald Massey?
Yep.
Yes, now okay, turn to that. That's volume 1?
Volume 1, page 27, exhibit 8.
Alright.
We'll identify where it's coming from and what it is talking about. The Egyptians identified themselves on the monuments as the R-U-T, root. A pictorial representation found in the tomb of Seti I. There are 4 races of people arranged in groups of 4 men each. These are the Neshi, which means Negroes, Hemu, which means light brown hue, with blue eyes and their hair in a bag. So that would be more of a mixture of.
He's going over the races.
A mulatto.
He said the Negus.
The Tamahu,
the mixed,
who are fair.
The Tamahu
as Europeans, and the Rut, who are Egyptians.
Alright, so he mentioned the Tamahu. I just want y'all to keep that in mind. Keep that in mind about the Tamahu. The Tamahu might be triggering for some people. Let's see more.
These typical
just warning you now.
Groups, not meant merely for conquered races, as may be gathered from signification of their names. The Tamahu are light-complected people, The Egyptian word Tama means people, and created. Hu means white, light, and ivory. Tamahu are the created white people. You got it in black and white right there. The Ne is black. The Na means black ink. Ne means blackbird. Shu means person of birth. Nashu, which means black born, or in Egyptian phrase, the black born from the egg, Shu. Him means rudder to paddle. Fish means hemi, paddle, fish. Hemi to steer. The Hemu is indicated as sailors or seafarers of the people of the Isles. That might be a form of your Phoenicians later on.
That's Babylonians.
The Isles of the Gentiles that might,
if my memory serves me correct,
might be rendered in Egyptians by the Isles of the Anu or Amu or Hemu. Now, to cut to the chase, the Egyptians were the true root ones of primordial people who first took conscious hold of the earth, retained a knowledge of the fact, and retained the knowledge of the fact that they was the first people to be on the damn earth.
So he's talking about how we, us being in the Egyptians, they knew they was the first people, and they were the first people. Then context that he said Tamu, then he broke down even in the etymology how it meant to create a white people. If this ever and when this does hit the mainstream, oh boy. If this hits mass consciousness, the mass collective, oh boy. I want to see, that's going to be interesting to see how they take it. I want to see, or if they already know subconsciously. Hey.
The land is the footstool. The land of Egypt, is the footstool root.
But shit, do niggas even know? Do niggas even know who they is? That's the thing. How are they gonna react when they really realize who they are? But on a subconscious level, they do know who they are too at the same time. That's what I'm saying. This is interesting how it plays out. You said riots. Why would they riot though? If they already know it on a subconscious level, and that's why they do everything they do. Or that some of them may do. The what's the word I'm looking for? Not typical, it's not typical. Stereotypical, that's what I say. Stereotypical. Because I know some cool white dudes. I know some cool white dudes and some cool white girls. I don't know mad shit at all. Not loving it at all. Some high vibrational. Some just chilling. But then you got others in the world that they straight matrix. They straight that programming. Same with melanated peoples. At the same time. As I feel like it's not even a matter of race. The race programming, I completely got out of that shit because I see past it. I see souls, not bodies. I see how the soul expresses itself. That's what I see. Everybody I feel knows that we are something. They just have to be reminded. Exactly. They just have to be reminded. Exactly. You made a good point telling me that reminder shit's not learning. It's being reminded. And Brother Panic said that too. Right, I see what you're saying. Yep. Let's get back into this.
A root.
322. Y'all peep that? I don't know if y'all did that shit small as hell on y'all.
The people were the feet, root, on which the human being first arose erect to attain full stature. Identically, however, when we learn that the Egyptians recognized the black race to be the first created men, the people of Ra were born from the great one. That the Egyptians recognized the black race to be the first created men.
The first
the people
so
of Ra were born from the.
Hold on. So that means he said the first created. So that means he was somebody who created white people. It's a matter of who created who. It's a matter of who created who. Now we know we're from Ra. We're the children of Ra. The boat of Ra. The rays of Ra. We're children. We're children. Or Ra's children. We're like children of the sun. That's for facts. That's all about those signs. He about to get into it, but we know this. So let's keep going.
The great one who is in the heavens. The root are born of his eye, and in the persons of superior men. Now this is the key. He also created the Amu and the Tamu as he has confronted himself with the multitudes who came from him in the shape of Negroes, by which expressly and said, Horus is created him, and he defends their souls. So in so many words, they go in and they say that the Egyptians, in so many words in this passage,
He gonna explain what I was already going to say.
Are the first black man, in so many words in this passage, created, or the first black man created the Amu, which is another fair-skinned race, and the Tamahu, which is the created white men. This is all coming from the temple of Seti I at Abydos, the first holy land. So now,
this is on the walls. This is on the walls. All right, this is in the temple walls. It's not just from the book. This is from the temple walls. So before niggas keep talking about source information, this is straight from the walls.
now we have a page of history that don't suggest no ape man. This is what the Egyptians are saying, and they say they call them the created white people.
Evolution, what?
You see?
Head ass.
Diop in his book, it's not pre-colonial Black Africa, it's the other one, Egyptian origins of African origins of civilization, myth, and reality. In that book, he goes all into the Tamahu, but he omits this page where it says they are the created white people.
Interesting.
So we have counter history that suggests other than this ape thing. We can prove this over and over through mythology.
Okay, so the white race being a created race, then how do we sync their history up with being a created people and then overpowering the people who were knowledgeable enough and powerful enough to create?
My take on it, based on the mythology again, is it didn't really overpower them. If you've been on the earth for a couple million years,
he finna get into it. He finna talk that sass. He about to talk that sass. That boy Bobby. So he about to start doing. Basically, he's about to decode, but it's not necessarily a decode. He's gonna use the mythology. I'm gonna just show you I don't know how to explain. I don't know what you call this. It's research. This is research. This is doing law of correspondence. It's corresponding the mythology with the history, with prophecy, and it doesn't miss. That's the beautiful thing about it. It doesn't miss. And he's gonna say a certain thing in here, and I'm gonna pause and say something, and I'm gonna explain how it comes to everything that's going on right now in terms of that matriarch energy. Because if you understand the mythology, you know who the matriarch is. It's pretty simple. If you know who we are, the Osirians, it's a little sneak peek. This is just a little sneak peek. If you don't get it now, you'll get it in the next 20 minutes. In the next 5. This is just long. I just be listening, bro. I be going it's in my subconscious, but we'll get in here. Keep in mind, this is from a 10-hour video, and I think this lecture by itself was like an hour and a half. So this is just 30-minute section. Go tap in with the if y'all want to watch the full and his other lectures, go to TransAtlantic Productions. And also, I should have in the description of this video on my channel, the link to the original video on their channel is in there too. So yeah. So I'll start.
Even Dr. Ben said that he gets more of a deterioration, a time just ran out, than he does someone coming and knocking us from the throne. Which means if you've been on the earth for millions of years, there has to be an intermission. We were weak from our infrastructure of being here thousands and thousands and millions of years. Physically, psychologically, and mentally. You see what I'm saying? Clearly, if the Africans were not weak psychologically and mentally, and the biggest the continent of Africa is, and all those Africans, they could have got together, crossed cultural lines, and stopped the European if they wanted to.
So I want to pause it right here because me and Monica Koo was talking the other day, and I was telling them, well, if you still here, remember when I was telling you, I was like, don't leave me now. Not the thought, don't let this thought leave me now. No, I was saying how we how Kemet really fell, how the ancients fell. Because the thing is, it's always talking about how we were kings, how we were them niggas, and we still is them niggas. Don't get it fucked up. Don't get it fucked up. We still them niggas, always them niggas. Coming back, we resurrecting. But the thing is, I'm talking about when we were at our peak. How do we fall from that? It's a matter of, like you just said, being there for millions of years, thousands of years, being at the top. That creates a disconnection from the original purpose, the truth. Then you have humanity building the like I was telling you, I was like saying like greed, and he's about to say like cultural divisions. Because like he just said, why couldn't they just band together and defeat the Europeans, and they know damn well they have the power to? Why is that? Why is division? Both before the Europeans invaded and after. Because keep in mind, Kemet had already fell. So the divisions was already in the natural state. It's the natural state of nature, it's just how it went. I'm just looking at it for what it is. I'm not saying it's a bad thing or a good thing. I'm just saying to keep it in mind. Think about it. We were so strong, we was our own downfall type shit. Had the power to be our own downfall. which it that is what it is. Your power is so powerful. You are your downfall. And really, but you're also your growth as well.
We're talking about a small group of people. Here's the people that we say are so spiritually in tune. Why is it that they couldn't communicate with each other? We're talking about mass amount of black Africans in numbers that couldn't stop this thing. But in so many words, what we have is some type of catatonic state where these people were so old until the concept of even securing themselves based on a defense system didn't even register. And one of the reasons why it didn't register because we had deteriorated to the point whereas we didn't look at each other in unity when it comes to color. The concept of color, if you're on a continent of Africa and everything you see is black all your life, the concept of color would not be the defining factor. It would be culture, language, customs, which in the case of deterioration, we had grown into too many of these cultures.
Division.
That saturated the central power. That meant that in these ancient civilizations, at the height of our power, those civilizations were vast. To have thousands of people under the same culture. As time went on, these civilizations started deteriorating, which creates smaller civilizations on down to tribes. So therefore, the smaller...
This is natural division. He's not even talking about manipulation by the European. He's talking about natural division due to deterioration. Because how's it come to be? We were in tribes when the Europeans came. See what I'm saying? Keep in mind when I'm saying we. Thought just came back to me. I'm American. I'm indigenous, man. I'm indigenous. I'm native to the land. But all, like you said, we were all at the peak. We all came from ancient Kemet. Keep in mind, there's Kemet over here as well. What you know about that Grand Canyon? ISIS was talking about I think it was ISIS. He was talking about it was somewhere in the Grand Canyon. If you just keep on walking and you get to a certain point, you're gonna end up in Africa from over here in America. That dimensional travel. And the thing is, I know it's real. I know it's real. Cause the thing is, I know we don't even have access. The public doesn't have access to the majority of the Grand Canyon. There is temples and shit in the Grand Canyon. You can look this up. And then spiritually, metaphysically, with the vibration raising on the planet as well. Oh, definitely. I have no doubt. What's on?
Bobby, can you play? What civilization gets the weaker it gets.
Listen to what you just said. That's a good point you just made.
So therefore,
from what I learned in history, that's true.
the smaller the civilization gets, the weaker it gets. Because they don't have the central power of mass number under the organized culture. So as the civilizations get smaller, customs and culture become sectarian, different, multiple. The ways of communication breaks down. So when the outside invader comes in,
Hold on. I go back.
culture. So as the civilizations get smaller, the central power of mass number under the organized culture, on down to tribes. So therefore, the smaller the civilization gets, the weaker it gets.
Damn, I completely heard that wrong. I could have sworn he had said the older it gets, the weaker it gets. I could have sworn he heard that. But it had to be in spirit, bro. Had to. But in spirit, I mean, in history class, they were saying, see, bro, this might be direct right now. And they was telling me, that's what they, like, you could tell from over time. The older government got, the older civilization got. It crumbled. That was just how it came. Not good things don't last forever. Nothing lasts forever. Life don't last forever. That's just how it is on this dimension. On this third dimension, I should say. See what I'm saying? Because that's just the way it is. Like how things are in America. Do you really think things are going to be good forever? There's no telling what's next. America has what, a 200, 400 year long history? 1700s? 300, 400 year history? Hey, they say we're on the clock. They said we're overdue. So, and the way things is going down in the Matrix, I don't know how shit hasn't popped off yet. That just tells me the programming. They got motherfuckers asleep for real. Or are people really waking up? About to see how it plays out. I don't know this word. Wake up and make change. I don't want to just wake up and just talk about it. I want them to wake up and act on it. Get to, what are we going to do next? What are we going to do about this? Because that's the real question. But it takes a group to do that. Not just one person going to have the right idea. Everybody going to be on the right accord. That's how the Black Panthers did it. If it's planning something. They always, the thing is, don't worry about what they're planning. They're just going to do something. What are we planning? That's what I'm saying. It don't matter what they're planning. They always scheming. What are we planning? That's what nobody's talking about. What are we planning? I'm at the point I don't care what they're planning. Because we already know what they're planning. We already know. So the question is, what are we planning? I'm gonna keep saying this so it sets in y'all subconscious that SRT, boy.
Because they don't have the central power of mass number under the organized culture. So as the civilizations get smaller, customs and culture become sectarian, different, multiple. the ways of communication breaks down. So when the outside invader comes in, there's no such thing as a central organization where you can even communicate on a mass level for a great defense system.
See what I'm saying? It was already divided the when niggas invaded. That's what I'm saying. Get out the mindset of nigga. They did this to us. They invaded on our land. My thing is, yes, but one, we was already divided. Two, we did have the power to fight. We did have the power we could have. But it did not play out like that, and that just is what it is. So the question is, what are we going to do now? Get out of the past. The past happened, but we have the power to change now. Nobody's doing shit now. Have a close schools, but you think it's too late for the youth? There's going to be those in the future. There's going to be those in the future. I know that just from, I follow a lot of people that are on the just occult timing, spiritual timing, like they're on that timing, and there's definitely gonna be that in the future, no doubt, because they already got some online right now where you can learn. You just got to catch them at the right times, or depending on the teacher, depending on the spiritualist. We gotta find a name for these niggas, depending on the divine one. Depending on the divine one.
Meanwhile, he comes in and pits these people against each other, because these people have deteriorated enough down to really think that their culture suggests that they are a different race of people than the brother next door, which is the same thing. Now, going back to mythology, mythology say that this would happen. They said that they would have to take an extract. You got all these thousands of cultures. This is very profound here. Let's try to understand what's going on. In so many words, what went on was not necessarily a fall. It was a divine plan. The ancient...
Hold on, boys. This is what I want y'all to understand, bro. When niggas be talking about like God's plan, when they be talking about spirit working, this is what it is. I think about the grand scheme. This is divine. This is divinely guided. This is living the mythology. Literally. When I said that in a song, I was dead, bro. Living mythologies. That's where you do that on a personal level, but you got to think what's internal is external as well. The external world is living a mythology. That's why when people ask about mythological figures or supernatural, it's a mythology. So by universal law, as above so below, it's real. Just off that alone, for me, I feel like that is what it is. On some level. It's energy. If you can think of it in your mind, it's real. If you can think of it in your mind, it's real. That's the power of imagination. I remember being younger, watching South Park. I went through all the season, watched all but what I think I watched almost every episode of South Park. But they had one little trilogy called Imagination Land. Gems. gems. It literally in there. They literally had every movie character, every culture, American culture character. Everybody was in there. They had like Santa. They had Jesus. They had video game characters, and it was all based off imagination. I think it was Kenny ass was doing magic in there. He just had to think up shit with his mind, and that's how they won. That's how they defeated the darkness. We'll look into that South Park imagination, man. That shit was crazy. And keep in mind, the way he did it, he had to think of what he wanted, and he also had to play a PSP. I think that's how it was. We might have to break that down. That's something I have to break down probably on Patreon. That's a Patreon or Discord exclusive, like a movie night. They would like talk about it after type shit, and that'd be the exclusive. Because that's a gem. Y'all should tap in. It's all about thinking like a child. But even though as comedy as South Park is, you might get caught up with the jokes and the comedy or all the craziness of shit that's going on. But that might be distracting you from the underlying little shit that might be subconsciously thrown in there. The writers might not even be consciously doing it, but they could at the same time. Does it matter? No. What matters is it's in there, and the correspondence to real magic is in there. On the steps of manifestation. It's like
mystical masters that ran the earth understood that one day there would be a deterioration period which would separate.
Run that back, Bobby.
In so many words, what went on was not necessarily a fall, it was a divine plan. The ancient mystical masters that ran the earth understood that one day there would be a deterioration period which would separate mass population of people who had a consensus of knowledge, information, and science under one cultural system, or 4 or 5 major cultural systems which were strong. And they understood that these systems would deteriorate and become multiple systems with fragmented cultures. So they understood that the central plan was to take those fragmented cultures, Egyptian, West Africa, Central Africa, extrapolate or extract the best, the strongest out of those cultures, remove them and put them all the way in the West. And then those cultures come together sexually on a procreation process that make a new creation. So those new creation, what would make that new creation a unifying factor that the African didn't have by deterioration?
Did y'all catch that? Did y'all catch what he was saying? Bro. He said they put him in the way. He said with them being so spiritually advanced, they knew what was going to happen. They knew the divine plan. They had to split it into the different mains. Okay. He said that here you got like Yoruba comedics. I'm not sure with the others. Or you could also think about another. What came to my mind when he first said it was like Masonry, like how you have Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. I was like the way they had the preserved information. and that we know Masons is just studying ancient Kemetic. Like I was saying, they knew what was going to happen, so they put in all different religions. They put them in the West. He said that to procreate. He said they're unified. He said, how would they be unified? That made them different from the deteriorated African. So basically what they did is they made a backup save file of all their best shit. If you want to put it in computer terms, you could say. They put that save file in the West to wake up with that seed. That part of Osiris, as he probably is about to say. Mike said they unified. Keep on going, man. Keep on talking about it.
Because in us, there's something that's going on that the Africa is separated by. What do we mean by that? You got Ego, Evo, Hausa, Dogon, Timbuktu.
All the different tribes. He's going through all the different tribes.
Egyptian, Cushite, Punt, Somali, Libyan, Nigerian, Ghanaian,
Talk that size.
Senegalese.
All of them.
Right. But over here, you create a new person that is mixed together of all these different Africans, because the simple fact, over here you were just a black person, so they just put you together and made it you. But in our blood system, we got Dogon, because we've been a great mixing bowl in the West that it talks about in the Kabbalah.
Yep. Again, it. Are y'all getting it? Are y'all getting it? Keep going, Bobby. Keep going, Bobby.
Out of these, I will call my son. These houses will come back into covenant, God's covenant, which is the tribes of Israel, Isis, Ra, and Elohim, which is Horus, being reunited. And when they come back together, in our blood, we will have Egyptian, Dogon, Hausa, Nigerian, ancient Yoruba, ancient Bambara, you know what I'm saying, the Fawn, the Dahomey, all in the central blood system, which is a reunited Africa of the ancient world, in the new people, because we are a mixture. Whereas the other Africa had broken apart and made other cultures. In us, we represent the uniting, the solidarity, and the merging back into those ancient cultures, which is called the smooth ashlar, or the crown jewel of the finishing product.
We're the unified. We're the unified Africans. We're a mix of all of them. This is polarity at its finest. They put us in a situation where we're all black. They take us from Africa. They make us all black by default. We're all African American by default. Not truly know who we are, not by tribe. But in that flip, we're a mix of all of them. That's very powerful. Because instead of having just power of one system, one culture, you can tap into multiple. Just tap into all of them. You can use all different systems, especially the ones that are in your bloodline. If you do the blood work, genealogy work, DNA work, really tap in. Or you just ask the ancients where we come from. I say ancients when I say elders. I like the word ancient gods. Ancient just sounds cool. Ancient just sounds cool to me. I don't say ancient in a derogatory, like super fucking old. I say ancient in terms of wisdom. So, the ancient ones reincarnated. The ancient ones is coming back. The newer generations are older. They're more ancient in soul. That bro used to that Indigo Child, Crystal Child, Rainbow Child video. Go watch that from Bro Yusuf. My reaction. It's that mix, so we can tap in all of them. So y'all know how y'all say chaos being. Well, the real meaning of being a chaos being is not just that you come from chaos, that you're primordial. No, you're chaos because you're all of these different cultures. You're all of these different systems. You have so much magic and power within you. That's what makes you a chaos being. That's the true meaning of being a chaos being. Because you have it within you already. That's the point. Where they say you don't have to do all this work and everything, is because, like, a lot of heavy work is because it's already in you. That's the point. That's the ancestors. The ancients running through your veins. In this physical body vessel and cosmically and galactically in your soul. And stitch into you. Shit hits on multiple levels, as above, so below. So don't just take it from literally. Take it at one level and then think of what's another level, another aspect you could then look at it at. Look at that Kabbalah, man. It changes the way you think. It opens your mind a lot.
The ancient mystical Africans, recorded in the doggone mythology, we got so much of it, understood this. And that would become the body of Osiris, connected back together. You see? So here's a whole nother form of history that is told in various forms of mythology.
I want to refresher if you don't know. So what happened in mythology, Set cut up Osiris' body parts and cast them. He spread them in the desert. And Isis had to retrieve them and get his seed, and that's how we got Horus. Isis all Set, that's the matriarch. I'm letting him keep going because I think he says something that's gonna spark it again. Keep in mind how I just said that. That's the part of mythology. So how we are the West, the body parts put in the West by Set. Set is the one that cut the body parts. Set is Osiris' brother. So that means if Set is at the same essence, that means you could, in one way, you might say, I want, in a way you could say Set is the deteriorated, as Bobby was saying, probably, and then how it casted the body parts to the west of Osiris to be resurrected by Isis, Set, the mother of a Horus, the matriarch, to get that seed. Who's going to get that seed from him to create Horus, and Horus is the one.
The scattered tribes of Israel.
All the same shit. So he's about to go through how all this shit.
So here's a whole nother form of history that is told in various forms of mythology. The scattered tribes of Israel. The scattered houses. But in that ancient mythology, they always talk about a gathering. So right in this judgment scene, in the book of Coming Forth by Day, to look at this on another level, you got these different netters, which represents different energies, different aspects of the planet Earth, all assembled, all going through a filtering process of the weighing of the heart and the balancing of the scale, which in turn is the finished product again of Osiris on the throne. So this picture of Osiris, or Osir, these netters, or these particular entities you see here, these gods, these netters, these judgments, are nothing but components inside of this one God. So all of these is in him.
As above, so below. So if they're in him, they're in us on a mass scale, and they're also in you. They're in you. That's the Kemetic philosophy. That's how they looked at it. These different natures being different aspects of you, different energies of the world, different aspects of the world. That's what I fuck with the Kemetics, because that philosophy, because if you can take that into many other disciplines. You can take that into Kabbalah, you can take that into Goesha, you could take that into what they call angel magic, arcanology. I think that's what they call it. Enochian magic. It's a way of thought, because all of these are just different aspects of your mind that you can tap into on a personal level. That's on a personal level, and at the same time, you can go look in the world for how these things, how signs you may get, spiritual messages you may find through these correspondences. As above, so below. Never forget it. Law of correspondence. Never forget it.
And all of these represent the mechanisms that work to put all of these back together.
Now it's interesting, you're saying these represent the mechanisms. Well, let's talk about those mechanisms and what that really means.
Well, you got the feather of Mayat right here. Now let's go into ancient esoteric information. Mayat also is this balancing scales. The royal art of ancient Kemet or ancient Egypt is the mystical art called alchemy, which is the study.
Before he says this, I want to let y'all know this. In him saying Mayat, in him saying balance is the rule of the day. It's 2022. 222. 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 6. 6 numerologically means balance, harmony. Harmony is the goal. Balance is the how you get to it. And there's balance in the world. Balance also goes with polarity, in a way. But balance is what you need in your life. Balance is what you need in all aspects. You need balance in mind, your left brain and right brain. You can't be too much in your right brain because you'd be too emotional. You might be fucking out of mind. You can't be too much in your left brain because you'll be too logical. You won't be able to see something. You might be too stubborn, too egoic. So it's that balance. Me and Coop talking all day, and we were talking about how we peeped. It's hard to like. It's hard to be like be like highly vibrational, spiritual every day. Like in the terms of not necessarily things of being on your shit, but I'm talking about in the terms of having experiences, or having your energy just being super high and you just in an intuition going crazy. You can have it last like 3 to 4 days, but every day consistently, if your energy's that high, we were saying, like, you're gonna be tired, you're gonna be drained. So that's why you have spiritual baths and spiritual cleansings. There's other spiritual work you have to do. You can't just be a god all the time. That's gods gotta clean themselves. Gods relax too. Gods enjoy their times off, but they have that power in them to get done what needs to be done when the time comes. So did I just forget where else that came from? I just forget how I got to that point. Hey, oh well, let's see what.
Of melanin in so many words. The royal art of ancient Kemet or ancient Egypt is the mystical art called alchemy, which is the study of melanin in so many words.
I want you to know melanin is not just brown skin. I want to let y'all know that. Real quick, I'm gonna give my interpretation in melanin, just from my personal experience. So I remember 8th grade, they taught me, they was teaching us basically. They were talking about colors and light frequencies. They was basically saying black is all colors. The color black is all colors basically put together, all different frequencies of light put together. Then you have white, which is the absence of all colors. So if black is all, white is the absent. There's two ways you can look at it. So in black being all, like how I was saying, you're a chaos. Chaos black. Chaos meaning all, really. Not necessarily destruction. Chaos really meaning all. Meaning say omni. You could say omni in a way. All is my best way to describe it, because there's so many different things you can get into. There's no restrictions, it's freedom. That's what chaos really is. So that's what black is. You have the way to manipulate that as you so please. White being the absence, you also have the way to manipulate that as you so please, because it's absent. You can make it whatever you want. It's pure. It's pure light. But there's also light in darkness, because there's frequencies in. White is a frequency in of itself. It's the frequency of nothingness. The straight line. And when all the lines come all together, that's white. Black, white, yin yang balances. Exactly. But this stuck with me like for years. They taught us this shit in 8th grade, and it always came back to me. It always came back to me, cause I was like, that's very interesting. Even back then, I was like, I was like, that's very interesting. Black is all, but white is nothing. I was like, yo, they damn near, they're really. I don't think nobody's mind working like one though. I think like that. Man, let's keep going. But that's alchemy. It's alchemy. Seeing all. How you flip it, so please.
The royal art
Balance
is going on inside of the body of Osiris. Therefore, as representative of inside of the body of the original people on earth, which is us. We are the Osirians.
Like I was saying, we are the Osirians. And another thing that just came to me, I think what he's saying when he says alchemy is the study of melanin, what that could also mean is the study of the energies within the body, the 72 aspects, the mythology in of itself, the natures in of itself. That study, that's alchemy. How that happens within yourself, different energies within yourself. That's alchemy. On a real level. Sometimes when I say alchemy, I say it in this way of like turning nothing into something, flipping it into in a new way. But that in of itself is the study of alchemy in a way of hermetic laws. Through the polarity, I want to say, or also another aspect, or I want to say, is it gender? Let me see. Let me look at it one more time. Let me look at it. Right. Yeah, polarity, yup. I might be going on something going everywhere. Let's see what.
Anubis
Mental alchemy.
be a gateway that these gods would filter through to become the one Osiris. Mayat, the feather, would be a gateway or a form of balancing.
Hold on. I want to make sure my guy caught that one. He's talking about my nigga Anubis. I want to make sure he caught that one.
Is going on inside of the body of Osiris, therefore, as representative of inside of the body of the original people on earth, which is us. We are the Osirians. The different Anubis would be a gateway that these gods would filter through to become the one Osiris. Mayat, the feather, would be a gateway or a form of balancing that these netters would come through and filter through and sift through like a milling process to become the body of Osiris. The god Ammit, which is the eater of souls, which in actuality would break down the process of the individual souls to mix it back in to make the perfect elixir. And the god Tahuti, which in so many words is showing that these particular entities here are intelligence. Because he's recording it in so much as recording it, he's a form of the synthesizing process of this consciousness that's coming up out of this whole thing, which is the consciousness of Osiris, which would be our higher consciousness. So there's a physiological or cultural level of the same court system and how they do all that. They got that from Kemet. But the court system in ancient Kemet that now we even have the judge Osiris. In the modern time, if you go to England, they might have a white wig on, but the judge, his wig has nappy hair in the top of it. So they have these white wigs on in England. And all the jury or whoever is judging, their wigs is smooth. But the judge, the main judge, he might have smooth hair on the side, but in the top is nappy little peppercorn beads within the white wig. So we have a prototype of ancient Kemet being copied by the Europeans, but that even that prototype of the law and the court of ancient Kemet is only a manifestation of something that's going on inside of the body also too. A judgment of energies.
As above, so below. Judging the world, judging the self. Judgment of energies. That's alchemy.
Judging, in so many words, it just means balancing out. Balancing out. Bringing two forces together and balancing them. In our body, the central staff that balances out all of these latent energies in our body that we call our spiritual self or our soul has one central balancing system that shoots up the spine, which is called a kundalini force, which is represented in ancient cultures as the staff of Tahuti, the staff of Moses. Moses takes the staff and parts the Red Sea. The Red Sea is the blood vessels that surrounds the spinal system. You see, there's 32 vertebrae in the spine. 32 degrees.
Masons.
33 degrees, which is which would be the final one in Western Masonic aspect. All of this stuff is talking about a balancing that's going on in the body, which is recorded as a balance that should go on in society.
It's nothing to it, bro. It's nothing to it. That should blow any fear that should blow any fear, any what is the Masons doing, bro? Them niggas just trying to do self. The real secrets is if you know, as above, so below. If you can do this within the internal body, you can do it outside the body as well. So if they're going through them different degrees, they're going through each of them vertebrae, each of those different minor chakras. I'm saying you don't have to be in that club to do that. Because one, you're already doing this subconsciously. Two, you can do it on your own if you're really tapping in and studying. Just use a different path. You don't have to go 3 degrees. That you don't have to do initiations. Initiate yourself. Learn and teach yourself. Get to the point where you'll know when you're there. You'll know when you did the work, because you're not just watching these videos and just watching these lectures ain't going to be there, and not even just watching a book. I said just watching a book, not even just reading a book. Read the book, take the exercises. Right book's gonna give you exercises like astrodynamics. I haven't got a chance to tap into astrodynamics yet, but I know it gives you good energy body exercises in there. But from reading a couple pages, it even taught me how to like sense it. It showed me that I was already sensing energy. Cause it's all, I don't know how to explain it. You just gotta, alright, I don't know how to explain it. It's all about temperatures. I can feel the vibrations like around my flex forearm. I don't know how to explain necessarily how to feel it out, but take the knowledge from the books and actually apply it. Not just reading the book, not just listening to the lecture is gonna help. You have to actually apply the work. When they say work on your sacral chakra, when they say work on your solar plexus, heart chakra, whatever, go work on your chakras. search up, how do I work on such and such chakra? How do I do this? It will come up immediately. They don't hide this. It's very easy. You can look this up with a Google search or YouTube. We're in the internet age, the information age. You can look this up in seconds. That's why a lot of time I'm not going to try and waste my time trying to teach y'all exactly how to do something. As I do open up a school, and I'm really got the time to be able to do it in the way that I truly do it, and I fully come to do it. Because the thing is, the way I'm learning is the same way I'm telling y'all how to do it, which is go online and look up exactly what you want to learn. It'll come up. You can learn for free. YouTube University. So, you want to learn how to do energy work? Look up. Robert Bruce has videos on YouTube about energy work. Robert Bruce wrote Astrodynamics. Tap in. Matak Chia, the fusion with the 5 elements. Number two very good ones. Number two very good ones that you start with. Give me one. Qigong, working with prana, working with Tai Chi, all those are different energy work things. I'm bringing energy work up because those are the things that are going to lead you to your spiritual abilities. Are going to help you wake up to more of sensing your senses. They're going to help you in the astral plane. The energy work is key.
And so without, as above, so below. That's what balance is. You see.
While we're on this, Bobby, I think it's a good place to segue.
He brought up balance. Balance is he said, okay, see. Balance even with the energy work as well. That goes into it as well. Balancing all the different energies. In doing energy work, you're going to be able to tap into those energies directly. Because you'll be able to sense them. You'll be able to feel them. When one comes up or gets out of control, you'll be able to get it in check. Mentally or in your body. That's how it works. You're judging it. You're the judge.
Spiritual essence of Kemetic Egypt, and how that was reflected in everyday life, in social life, in values, in morality, in the ability to accomplish the things like your pyramids and what they were.
Okay. And then we're going to go into that in a few seconds. What did they know about their remote history? And what about that remote history that they knew about that would give them the insight in the spirituality to produce a practice and produce various ways of spirituality a research in trying to find out what is needed to be done to get to a higher spiritual level. What was it in their remote past, that brought them to these conclusions? Apparently these are the most illumined people on earth. And they were the most illumined people on earth because they knew something generally about where they came from and how they got to where they were and basically where they were going. And all the stuff in between is the process and the steps that they took to ensure themselves the final solution. So in order to understand that, we must understand the beginning. The Egyptian beginning or the Kamite beginning in so many words to cut through all of the different aspects of ideology. In so many words, they understood that there used to be another primordial entity that somehow was thrust into a new reality of physical existence. And that primordial entity woke up one day and found itself to be human and having a human experience in a new situation that is totally different than the prior situation of the divine, and to put it in so many words, the prior situation of being gods. Omnipotent beings. That's a hell of a information and a blueprint to start off with that would make you superior in a sense that you know that you were these advanced beings.
He's saying even then they knew they was God. Same shit we going through now, bro. Even same shit we talking about now. Niggas knew they gods. They knew they was up and they get built big on that. But we're here now, though. He's saying even back then, he's saying you gotta keep the same mind. Even back then, when they first got here, they knew. Like, it was just like that.
That one day was shifted into a new paradigm of human existence. That's what the Kamite and Egyptians knew. That they were shifted into a new paradigm of human existence. And number two, they had to live out this human existence of several eons. Only to come to the final solution or the final metamorphosis or manifestation back into the original aspect, but not necessarily the same. It's the concept of a caterpillar going into a cocoon and becoming a butterfly. The caterpillar was the original larva of creation. The human is the cocoon stage of something that is not finished. I don't care how much of human civilization we go through. It is always in the process of becoming the butterfly, which is a metamorphosized caterpillar, god, cocoon stage human. Butterfly represents the finished product.
An awakening.
In Egypt, you always saw this scarab. Let me see if I got my ring. This scarab. This scarab, which represents dormancy, will one day grow into the winged beetle Kephra. Kephra, which is the finished product. But as long as you have these two principles in ancient Kemet, It means that humanity is never going to be the final stage.
Yes, sir.
We can never go back to kindergarten, no matter how advanced we thought it was. We have to become something new. This is the fundamental and central to all world mythology and all world religions.
He's even saying, even in this, he's even saying not to go back. He's saying also as well, in a way, it's not for us to go back to Kemet. It's not for us to go back to what was. It's for us to bring forth new. I say, bring back the ancients. Y'all ain't even heard that. That shit's unreleased. That's on hard. Gotta bring back the ancients. Because what I'm saying is, I'm bringing back the divine energies. I'm bringing back those aspects within yourself. Your higher self knows those names, knows those beings. So they're going to resonate with you on a different level. They're going to activate you. So when I say let's bring back the ancients, we're bringing back forth that upon you. And also the ancients actually in themselves. So they can bring forth the new as well. So we may become the new. As above, so below. Both happen at the same time.
Christianity, we call it the Christ. That is a metamorphosis. In ancient Egypt, the central royal art, or what you would call the highest mystery that goes beyond worshiping the gods, the highest mystery was what these gods were composed of. What were the energies?
See?
What is this energy, this substance, these compounds, these elixirs that later day mythology calls the gods? What is this force?
What is the energy? That's all it's about.
And that's where the royal art of ancient Egypt, which is the highest form of any spiritual science on the planet, is that of alchemy.
Just told y'all, it's about studying the energies within yourself. The energies of those natures which do reside in yourself. But even when it applies to magic, what are those energies? I mean, into magic or the external world. What are those energies? What instance may be used? What candles? What colors align? What day aligns with this energy? What planetary body aligns with this energy? Though these are all different aspects that can go on into the energy, that are taken into account with magic, spirituality. So if you really tapped in, you should, in your getting into it with these energies, diving in deeper, working with them, you should know the correspondences. You can't just say you're working with Thoth, but you don't know Thoth day is Wednesday. You can't know Thoth is lining up with Mercury. Doesn't make sense. You can't know that Thoth lines up with communication. All these things correspond to each other. It's very easy to know, because once you learn Mercury deals with communication, you look at what Mercury looks like, that's blue and yellow, that's Thoth's colors. Mercury lines up with Wednesday. Mercury deals with messages, communication. So you're going to get that wisdom. See?
Which is the study of the breakdown of the particles in the universe
He's
and
just
the
saying on a higher
particles
level,
in man.
on the grand scheme. He just saying what it is on the
Of the
grand scheme.
breakdown of the particles in the universe and the particles in man. As above, so below.
Historical, man. That boy Bobby was talking that sass, man. But yeah, man, I hope y'all learned a lot in that video, man. I hope y'all learned a lot from that. A lot of gems, man. Bobby don't miss. Bobby always looking for great information. Yeah, you can apply that in so many ways. You learn a lot. That's good, bro. That's good. That's great, man. Happy you learning. That's all I'm here for. Thanks, man. No problem, man. Shit, I learned more just from watching it again. Might have to watch it a couple times. You might learn something new. You might make a relation to correspondence that I didn't even make, or that just from hearing what Bobby said, you might make a thing from your own experiences. Like how I did with the black and white shit. Man, make sure y'all like and subscribe, man. Comment, let me know what y'all think. Let me know what y'all want me to watch next week. Y'all want me to react to again. I have a lot of shit planned, but I do want to not just react to, but like break down, observe, you could say. Also got some books we're gonna read. We got a lot in the plans. We got a lot to work. Make sure you're doing your spiritual work as well, man. Make sure you're doing your spiritual work. And focus on self. Grow. Get your shit together. Hey, did somebody just go off with a 9? It's like, no, let me stop. Bro, yeah. I'm gonna take a little break and I'll be right back. We're gonna watch another video.